Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, hello and welcome. My music stopped. We're live. Welcome back to the Sports Ranter as we are launching season 4. And I want to say a quick thank you to our 20,000 subscribers and our million viewers around the world. Will continue to be here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. helping you humiliate your friends, family, and neighbors. That's why we're here. We're here to help you build your fantasy football team, and we are bringing you decades of knowledge and passion. I want to say thank you to our hosts, Jake and Nick, co hosts. Thank you guys for being here, dedicated to this. Back to back champion, Nick, commissioners. We're all here, guys, ready to help you do this. And so there's so much to talk about. But we got to get this rolling. So the first thing that we like to talk about really every year, whether you're a standard league or you're a PPR league, is your strategy, right? Your particularly your strategy on what you think you should be doing. So Jake, I'm gonna go ahead and roll it on to you. Like you said, there's standard leagues, there's PPR leagues, and so we want to make sure that our viewers know that there is a difference. And so make sure you pay attention to your point systems, and that way you can draft accordingly. Jake, how are you, my friend?
I am great. It's been a fun time off, but I definitely am glad that we're back doing this, and it's good to see you guys. I can't wait for our drafts. It's a lot of the time, for a lot of us, the only time we get together. But yeah, I'm ready to go, man. It's been a busy year, and it took me a little bit longer in the year to get excited for fantasy, but I'm jacked up now, man. Like
Excellent.
it's ready to go. So, but as far as draft strategy goes, and I know Nick's got a full PPR league. I'm sure he'll favor that a little bit. So I always try and gear my take of things to my standard league. And my strategy going in, obviously, every year is touchdowns are king. Obviously, guy like Derrick Henry is always going to be more valuable in a league like mine, just because the guy's a massive touchdown machine. Quarterbacks, and actually my quarterbacks, we get 6 points for rushing or passing, but so quarterbacks are very valuable in my league. So those, usually people, once one goes, everybody starts going, because it's not like a 4 point passing league where you can survive on it like a Jared Goff more, every week. The disparity is a lot greater. But I just kind of like to see where everything's going. It's hard to gauge a strategy based on like average draft position of what's out there right now, because we all know our leagues never go with that. We have a lot of smart people in our leagues, and you're not going to get a guy that you think that's an obvious value before your drafts. That guy's not going to survive. We're no dummies to it. So. But I've been taking on the strategy the last few years, more or less like if you want a player and you believe in a player, reach for him. If it's a round or two early, you're going to feel better about your draft coming out of it if you reach for that player. And for example, like I'll give you one. Chase Brown right now is in the third round, like ADP. I know for a fact, because I'm one of them. There's plenty of guys that believe in that dude, based on what he did last year, where if I'm at the end of the first and it's heavy running backs in my league, like it always is, I'm grabbing Chase Brown. Like, I believe in the guy, and my regret if I grab him at the 11th or 12th pick and say he doesn't exactly live up to that is going to be a lot greater than if I pass on him hoping he'll come back and I didn't get him. So if you have a guy that you love, don't be afraid of average draft position of where you think he's going, because somebody else will grab that guy. The other thing obviously is touchdowns, but I really focus on what has changed in the offenses. What has changed in the offense? What are the unknowns? And I'll give you another example. Like Amon-Ra is always projected in the top 5-ish. He's down for me a little bit. I don't know what that offense is going to look like without Ben Johnson. Jameson Williams has been coming around. So there's a lot more dudes that are surefire. We've seen what they do. The offense hasn't changed to where give me a Nico Collins or something like that. And even Tyreek Hill, a lot of people sleeping on him, forgetting about him, forgetting that he was hurt a lot last year and they didn't have Tua. I think the guy's out got something to prove. So
Mm-hmm.
that's another one of those guys where I'm
Yep.
willing to reach because I still believe it. So that's little touch on my strategy. One last thing I'll say is I'm not always a believer in the wait to take a quarterback, stream quarterbacks, this and that.
Mm.
My life is a lot less stressful when I have used my late second, early third on a Lamar or a Josh Allen, and
Mm.
I don't have to worry about that. And the dude could give me either of those guys will give you 70 points, at least once in the season. So, yeah, I've moved away from that strategy. I'm tired of riding out the Jared Goffs and then trying to fill in the blanks with Geno Smiths and all that.
I hear you. I'll counter that in here in a second. But Nick, we featured our league more of a PPR league. Does it change much at all from what Jake is talking about?
Um, yeah, I think it does. I mean, I don't think it's just more touchdown dependent. So, you have to value your guys differently. The yards don't matter as much. Um, so in a PPR league, I don't really look at touchdowns as much. You know, touchdowns are valuable, but I don't. That's not something I search for in my players. Like I don't like when I go through when you're doing your homework. One draft strategy, you got to do your homework. Do your homework. If you go into a draft cold, more like you're gonna make mistakes than get lucky. Um, we all know you need a little bit of luck in fantasy, but you want to leave less room for error there. So you do your homework. So one of the things I don't do in PPR is I don't filter through touchdowns. You know, I might glance at it. Oh, that guy had 12 touchdowns last year. That's great. Touchdowns are very up and down, right? You could have, you know, Brock Bowers, let's just say last year, number one tight end. He had, I think, three touchdowns. Like, okay, so he's not valuable because he had three touchdowns. It's just in a PPR, it's just like an added bonus. In a standard, it's almost a requirement. Like it's almost like if you need that guy that's gonna get 8 to 10, 12 running backs who are up in the 15 range. If those are like Jake was saying, Derrick Henry's like way more valuable. You know, he's on the top three at least, just because he might get 20 touchdowns again. And that's what I projected last year, which is why I drafted him in the first round and why I valued him because once it's that far advanced than everybody else, then you're gonna really excel. But you know, as far as the overall draft strategy, you know, I've been preaching it for years. Everybody in my draft knows value, value, value. I'm a big value guy, so I'm a little bit different than Jake. Now, Jake's been successful. I will caveat there's no one draft strategy that works for everything. Like Jake's successful in his leagues. I'm successful in mine. I've won every single one of mine with this type of strategy. Jake's either come close or won all his too. Like it's just kind of maybe a little bit of luck and a little bit of the free agency too of who you guys pick up throughout the year because the draft is not everything. It is not everything. But as far as strategy, I'm a big value guy. Yes, I have my certain guys I'm aiming for, but I want to build my roster. I want to be deep. As we know with fantasy, you have injuries, you have bench spots, you have three, you have
Bye
five
weeks.
positional players at sometimes six or seven with flexes. And if you got
Bye
two
Mageddons.
studs and if you got two studs and five whatevers, like I don't feel comfortable with that. Like I'm not gonna reach for a stud when I can get two solid players or three solid players back to back to back with value pick versus just the one stud. And I got like, I hope this guy gives me 10 points. Nah, give me the solid 15, 20 every week. Or let's just say 15, 20 is probably one of your studs, but a solid 12 to 15 throughout your roster. I'm scoring, let's just say a buck 40 every week, and I'll take my chances. You know what I mean? Like, Jake's more boom or bust, right? He's gonna have the 200-point week, and then he has the 80-point week. So a little different strategy. I like consistency. I like my 140 every week. I'll take my chances. and just be consistent. So I just like value, but you got to do a little bit of homework. Like Jake says, you got to see where guys are going. You got to kind of see, do you have a chance at him in the fifth round, or is he going to be gone by the third? Stuff like that. It's kind like Jake said, though, it's really hard to pinpoint guys now because we're all in very competitive leagues.
Yeah, and the only
And
reason with my when I say, reach for a guy, I'm not talking about, if you really like Michael Pittman, reach for him in the sixth round or something when he's going in the 11th. What I'm saying is specifically for our leagues
your
and,
top end
and
guys.
very competitive leagues, ADP pre-draft is not the tell-all. You cannot expect a guy like a Tyreek Hill or a Chase Brown that's okay, their ADP is in the middle of third. I'm in the late second. I'm not, or whatever. I'm not going to draft him. Like with our leagues, if you have a guy that you believe in within the next round or two, there's a lot of picks that come back around. I'm not talking huge reach. Nick is exactly right. Value is everything. You don't want to reach for a guy that obviously isn't gonna is gonna be around for a few rounds. You want to be able to get those guys where, hey, we're in the early third and this guy's projected mid fourth. I may have to take him now because he's it's our leagues are competitive. It's they don't. I
Exactly.
don't know how many times on draft day do we hear like, "Oh, you took my dude, you took my
Yeah, I
dude."
mean, there's so much to look at. Like Jake said, okay, like if you're looking in the third round, just something off the top of my head, and that guy's going in the mid fourth, now you got to look at, okay, I'm gonna overpick this guy, but what's his injury concern versus the guy that's valued at that spot, right?
Sure.
Um, you know, so do I reach for the guy I like because he's maybe a safer pick, or do I go with the higher ranked guy, but he's got some injury? Like those are all decisions you make draft day. There's no way to predict, how we're gonna draft. And I will say, as the back-to-back champion, 2 years ago I drafted.
Oh my
Here we go.
God.
You know how to say it week one. You know how to say
Come
it.
on.
I draft Travis Kelsey. I never draft tight end, and then I go put Holmes in the third. End up winning it. Last year I went running back, running back, running back. So I just say that to our fans. Like last year I went tight end, receiver, quarterback 2 years ago. Last year running back, running back, running back. I won back to back. So there isn't like this, oh, just follow this guideline and you're gonna be like it is a little
Right.
bit of randomness, but it's about roster construction. How I always say, if you want to give yourself a chance, you gotta have a, and that's where I'm gonna push back a little bit on the quarterback thing. Like Jake, I'm sorry, but like I just, if you draft the quarterback high, your roster construction is going to be a little different, and you'll get to be weak in areas that you might have to overcome, and that's something I don't really like to do.
Well, again,
You
the
know,
variation in our leagues in the scoring for quarterbacks is big because it's
Well,
four.
yours is different. In a six
Yeah,
point, 100%,
Right.
that's wholly different.
yeah, yeah,
We got to assume most leagues, because of just how standard scoring
Yep.
right.
is
But
4 points per
If
quarterback. But in a 6 point, correct. I'm also in a super flex, right? So you can put a
yeah,
quarterback in the, well, that changes everything. If quarterback's got
well,
to go in the
yeah,
first round,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah,
No, I mean in Nick's
unorthodox
league,
leagues.
Nick, in your league with your scoring, my strategy absolutely changes because a guy, you're taking into rushing value at that point. I mean, it's a big deal. You're not gonna reach so much for a God, I fuck Jalen Hurts or somebody like that, so fast because there's rushing attempts, rushing yardage, all that. There's just other factors that
well,
play in. So yeah, strategy totally changes.
well, just so our viewers know, Jake and Nick are both right. Like I said, we're coming here from multiple perspectives, a PPR league and a standard league. Now, um, just like I said, just so your viewers know, that's big. You gotta know what your scoring system is, and you gotta draft accordingly. And also, there's also the flow of the draft. We're talking how Nick doesn't filter through touchdowns in a PPR league, but when you pick at 12 and all those dudes are gone, you have to pick Derrick Henry and get those touchdowns. We're talking about how we don't go quarterback early, but Jake would have took Baker Mayfield last year.
Oh yeah.
He would have been just happy with him.
Yeah.
And watching Jake or Josh Allen, as much as I love me some Josh Allen, I love him so much. I'm actually watching Hard Knocks for the first time ever. But I would much rather have a Baker Mayfield on my roster when it comes to a fantasy perspective. Last year, these things happen. So as a fantasy manager, you guys, we are your safe haven. We are your platform for all of these questions. If you get a chance to see our video after we post it this week, come back to us, ask us a question, let us know, come back to us live. We are deciphering all these situations. But back to draft strategy. Um, me, uh, same thing, kind of like what Nick says. It's all about value, but because of injury, because of Bimageddon's, I love to stack my skill players. Very much like if you take a tight, just like taking a quarterback early, it's going to hurt you late. If you take a tight end early, it's going to hurt you late, especially if it doesn't come through. Like when I took Laporta. Like, oh my gosh, if it doesn't come through, it really, really hurts you. And so it's almost better just to stick to your roots and stack your running backs and your receivers. Me, that's what I'm doing. I'm always trying to stack my starting running backs, my starting receivers, and if, depending on how deep it goes, one or two bench players before I even think about quarterback, before I even think about tight end. And that's just something that I roll with for me. I've also won all my leagues as well. I'm not back to back like making Mr. Nick here, or it's been a while. I know I'm struggling in Jacob. For some reason, I have been struggling in Jacob's league ever since he has added more competition to it. And so it's been a struggle, but I'm trying. Even Corey's calling me out. It's pissing me off.
Yeah,
Hey, I will
no
say,
more. Oh,
I
go
have a
ahead.
work league. Um, I don't know what it is. I call it my Yahoo work league. I'm in 5 leagues every year. I've been in it for, I think this is my 5th year now. I can't sniff the playoffs in there. And I don't know what I do different. I don't know what. I draft the same. I draft strat. So, yeah, it happens, guys.
Yeah, it does.
This is just awesome. It's fun. That's what makes it fun. It's not easy, especially if you're competitive leagues. And I would say it's probably my fourth least competitive league. Like I put my other three that I'm in way more competitive than that one. And I can't sniff. I think I snuck in one year on a 7-7 playoff and got out booted in the first round. It's like my best season. I come in last twice. Like I can't, and I'm
I,
like, how,
I,
why? I
my
draft the same as I
I,
do in
Right.
all my other
dude,
leagues.
I got a league. My softball league
And I
is
can't
like
do it.
that, and it's my that league. My softball league has. I have the most people in that league that don't pay attention to fantasy or really football. They do it just for fun, whatever. Last year, I had Derrick Henry and Jameer Gibbs, and I had Mike Evans, and I missed the playoffs. Like there's just because, and I'll tell you why. Because I waited on my quarterback and got Geno Smith, and it cost me, man.
Yeah,
But
it's just
So
it's crazy.
But back on that strategy, like I said, I want to stack my skill players all the way to my bench because of injuries, because of Bimageddon's, because you don't know what's going to happen. For me, I'm a lot more stressed out if I don't have my depth to fill in for these situations, more so than a quarterback. When I know there's going to be a situation on the waiver wire, there's going to be some type of spot play, where it's the worst defense every week or whatever, I'm going to take my shot at that and continue to roll with my guys. That has been my strategy. I'm predominantly in the playoffs. I'm not always successfully in the playoffs, but with that strategy, I'm usually there. I like giving myself a chance, and like I said, to remind our viewers out there, the million viewers, yes, there is money involved in our leagues, right? But that's not what's important to us. We love the bragging rights. We love to tell our friends, family, and co-workers that you suck. Like that's what we love to do. So I
I mean,
promise you, during the season, you guys get that. You got someone itching at you at work or your neighbor. Come to us. We'll give you your best roster. We're gonna help make it, guys. We're gonna help build championship fantasy owners right here at the Sports Ranter. And so, moving forward, we got to get into, obviously, everyone talks about the top five positions. Who you eyeing top five quarterback, top five running back, receivers, and tight ends. We leave out kickers and we leave out defenses. They're not as relevant as they used to be. Uh, they are more of a spot play type thing too, depending on what you're doing. But for some reason, it's not like the old days where you can pick Justin Tucker and Chicago Bears defense, and you can be happy with almost 35 points a week with those two picks. It used to be consistent, not so much anymore. So it's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Um, let's go with the easiest part here. Let's go ahead and go with quarterback. We all don't have to cover it. We can just do like a top five census per group on what we think is the top five, or real quick. But obviously, just to get my part started, it's in the pudding. Lamar Jackson is the number one fantasy quarterback. He continues to come through. So I like Lamar Jackson. I like Josh Allen. Josh Allen always comes through too, especially when he can make. What was it last year, Jacob? He gets the wide receiver touchdown and the running back touchdown, right? Well, because that was the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. I really am becoming a Josh Allen fan, and watching this Hard Knocks and just seeing what he's gone through, dude. No one deserves it more than freaking this dude, bro, Josh Allen. So I'm excited about him. Pick him up, fantasy owners. But Josh Daniels, Jalen Hurts are in there, and then I really like Joe Burrow, number 5. He's gonna come out hot and pissed, and you saw it a little bit in the preseason game last night. And so those are my top 5. I think that's very similar to what it shows on ESPN. If you got anything different to say, Jake, what do you got?
I got just, and again, kind of going with my scoring, but this is kind of overall too. I put Josh Allen as number 1 simply because Lamar has Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry does vulture some of those goal line touchdowns. And I do think that Lamar Jackson has, I think looking at the wide receiver cores of both, I think Lamar has a few more guys to throw to. Why they did not get Josh Allen more receivers is for another day. I got Jalen Hurts at number 3. And then, again, this is my league. Joe Burrow, dude, they just paid both receivers. Like, the dude's going to throw for a bazillion yards. He obviously doesn't rush. Jaden Daniels, I actually have at 5. I know he's up at 2 or 3 for a lot of the ADP and stuff. When you don't have Terry McLaurin practicing, and now they're talking about trading Brian Robinson Jr., like, there's some uncertainty in that offense that I think is going to take, that, again, he's a sophomore quarterback. We saw C.J. Stroud go through a sophomore slump. So I'd keep an eye on the moves that the Commanders make with their offense, some of those skill players.
Yeah, I mean, the one I'm nervous about, like Jake said, I mean, is Jaden Daniels. The other 4 are kind of automatic. The only thing with Joe Burrow is you do have injury concerns. He's been injured a few years now, so um, if you don't want to risk a top end quarterback for him, I understand. But if he's in there, he's going to throw for a bajillion yards, like Jake said. So no worries if he stays healthy. But yeah, I mean, CJ Stroud is quarterback 21, ESPN rankings right now, which everybody had him in the top 5 last year, I believe, at least top 10. So that sophomore slump, the extra tape, the defensive coordinators getting smarter against a young quarterback. A rookie quarterback doesn't see it all, hasn't seen it all. They're going to start throwing different things at him. They're going to pick out his weaknesses. The one thing I will say with Jaden, he does get the rushing yards, so that's going to help him as far as his floor. He's going to have a higher floor than like CJ Stroud because he runs. But yeah, who I put in that 5th spot from there on, I mean, it's tough for grabs. I mean, Baker Mayfield's right there.
Yeah.
He took me to the championship last year. Like, I mean, Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. I don't know when we're gonna say he's too old, but I'm not gonna keep betting against the guy. They signed Chris Godwin, which I thought he was gonna get traded. They signed him. They're bringing everybody back. They got
Buka.
who's their running back now that
Irving.
shined?
Oh,
Bucky Irving,
Bucky
right? It was
Irving.
Rashid White was coming in, but Bucky Irving took over. So whenever you have a run game, that helps the passing game. Like they can run the ball. They just have a well balanced offense, and we saw that time and time of game last week. So I mean,
when Baker rushes the ball, Baker's not a.
he can run. Yeah, he'll get you 40 yards here and there. Like he'll rush it for a touchdown on the goal line for
The
sure. He could sprint. So I wouldn't be shy to put Baker Mayfield in that fifth spot.
Like,
the the Bucks are for real on both offense and defense. It's amazing to say that because they used to be called the Yucks, right? But the Bucks are for real on offense and defense. But the only concern is a change in head coach, right? Duvall from Jacksonville is in Tampa now, right? Is that correct, or am I wrong on that?
no, I think it's still Bowles, right?
Yeah, I don't think they
Or is a
changed.
new
Yeah, they didn't
he's a
change
new
anything.
coordinator? He's a new oral coordinator or something. There's a new oral coordinator in Tampa because it's
Yeah, it's
Duvall.
still Bulls as the head coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but
Um,
like I said, the Bucks are for real. I'd have to agree, and so we're gonna have to see. It's hard not to fall in love with what they're doing. Um,
okay, you're right. Liam Cohen went to Jacksonville, the OC. So they're
Yeah.
gonna have Josh Grizzards now is their new coordinator. So
I see.
maybe a little something, but
Well, I hope he doesn't want to just change everything, right? He's been doing pretty good, Baker Mayfield, last 2 years. So we'll see if that really does change anything. Another change for Baker Mayfield. Who do we got here? Mike Renegade. Hey, guys. Oh, dude, go Broncos. Hey, I appreciate you, Mike. We're here for you, man. You got any questions or concerns? Our live chat box is for you.
Oh, Broncos Mike.
And yeah, we're here for you to ask any questions. Thank you for showing up, man. We're going to be here live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And also, starting now before Sunday Night Football, we're going to do a little live reaction show. Anything you want to say, you want to join us, you're more than welcome to join us, Mike. I appreciate you joining us, man. And so, okay, running backs. Let's get right to it. Someone asked me yesterday, Ben, who's your number one pick PPR? And I struggled. I was like, you asshole, right? Like, how dare you ask me such a hard question right now? Because it's obviously it's you want to salivate. You salivate for Jamari Chase and you salivate for Justin Jefferson in a PPR league, but it's like you know those running backs are gems, and there's a really really hot pick. The best ones are old right now. Saquon, Derrick Henry. They're I think Saquon's still there though. Like I don't really think Saquon's missed a step. So if anything of those group, I like Saquon, but there's something itching to me about Ashton Genty. It's not a hype. It's real. It's in his DNA. Pete Carroll is behind him, and if I'm a fantasy owner, I want that volume. Maybe Saquon Barkley gets a little low volume. I don't know. Like it's making me think a lot. I just feel better drafting Ashton Genty number one.
Ooh.
But we're gonna go Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. I like James Cook, and then I may be off my rankings a little bit, and I might be missing somebody. I'm not gonna go Chuba, even though he's gonna lose production this year. Chuba Hubbard for sure. But I like. What did I just have?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs or Bucky Irving. I like Bucky Irving with the load coming up. So, but that's it. That's who I got. That's who I like on my top 5 for running backs.
Nice.
Jacob, what do you think?
For my top 5, and again, leaning a little more non-PPR, but it doesn't change that much. To me, Saquon's number one. He's one. Saquon is not that old. 2, you got guys like Derrick Henry that get all this praise where he's just built different, his conditioning and his off-season workouts and stuff. Saquon is the same way. Like Saquon has had some stupid freak injuries, but last year he proved the guy, touched the ball 345 times. The other factor that you have to take in, I feel like, is he has it all. He has the best O-line in football. He's got a quarterback that can pass. They have a passing game as well. He's got everything around him where even if he did lose a little bit of those touches, that offense is going to score plenty of points. That offense is going to constantly, more often than not, be ahead in games where they're running the ball. Give me Saquon all day long. Give me Saquon all day. He's number one. Derrick Henry, and this is again just favoring the non-PPR. I think I have no problem drafting him the second running back. I really don't. I think the scoring opportunities are going to be there. Even if they cut him back, let somebody else beat up the between the 20s. Let him come off the field a few more times a game and rest up. But the dude has not slowed down. So Derrick Henry's my number 2. Bijan is my number 3. I'm going to say this about the whole volume thing, because we all talk about volume, and this goes into my opinion on Ashton Gentry as well. Volume is great if you're on a team like Philly or like Baltimore. But if you're on a team that doesn't have an offensive line and you're on a team that doesn't score a lot of points, then all the volume you want, they're just not going to produce. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs, was in a timeshare of almost 50% last year, and he finished as the RB2 or 3. He didn't need all that volume. Go rest up on the sideline for a drive or two, and then come in fresh and smoke them. So volume is great, but it's not everything. You got to be a complete back like Saquon, where you can run, you can catch, you can pass block, and your offense moves the ball. So Bijan's my number 3. I do think the offense is going to be better with Penix. And I think that I think they're going to have more scoring opportunity than last year. Gibbs is my number 4, and it's close because, again, the change with the offensive coordinator, we still, David Montgomery's still there, and there's really no reason why he should lose any touches. Jahmyr Gibbs is the most talented, I feel like, gifted running back in the NFL, skill set wise, but the dude is not a bruiser, and it wouldn't be smart for them to give him a 3-down workload all the time when you have a guy like David Montgomery who produces just fine. And then my 5th has moved up, and I got to say it looks like he's healthy. It looks like he's going to, give us one more season, but that's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey just, didn't he just clock in the fastest speed in pads at 25 miles an hour? I saw a report of that. To give context, Tyreek Hill was the fastest last year at 24. Wasn't even close. So if McCaffrey's healthy, and that's I'm watching every day, I'm watching reports, is he practicing and all that. But McCaffrey's one of those guys where if you feel like he's healthy and you feel good about it, you look behind him and it's like they got rid of Jordan Mason, whatever. He may be somebody that you have to reach in the early seconds, because he's going in the 3rd. So, and he's a guy I'd be willing to do that for. So that's my 5.
Fantastic.
I pretty much agree. I mean, Saquon, you guys said enough. I mean, I don't. It's him and nobody else. It's so easy. If I had the number 1 pick, I'm going him. That's just obvious. My 2 is Christian McCaffrey.
No.
I mean,
no, I don't disagree.
Injury concern, great. I understand. I'm not gonna argue that. But put injury aside, dude, people forget how dominant he's gonna win you your league.
Yeah.
He's gonna win you your league if he stays healthy all year. If he plays 16 games, you are gonna win. I'll guarantee you playoffs. You might not win you're gonna be in the playoffs. The guy is just so dynamic. He just catches so many balls. Kyle Shanahan, I believe, is still Kyle Shanahan. I don't think he's changed much. I just like him too much to ignore the talent. He's not old in the running back losing a step type of thing. Jake just said it. He got clocked at it's more injury, not he's getting old. So I like him at 2.
Nick, can I pause real quick? Just to touch point on what I was talking about with draft strategy. What Nick is saying exactly right now is why sometimes your strategy has to be don't believe everything with ADP. If Nick's sitting on the clock, and McCaffrey's there at say 6 or 7.
Oh, he's gone.
Don't think that you can just wait. You're gonna have to reach to get him if you want him, because like Nick just said, it's always different in the leagues, and people see players differently. So anyway, sorry Nick,
you're good. I got Gibbs. You guys already talked about Gibbs enough. I got Gibbs at 3. I got Derrick Henry at 4. again, enough said. Touchdowns, Baltimore offense, run heavy. Yeah, they try to pass scene here with Lamar, but they're a running team. They're always going to be a running team.
Only in the
Um,
playoffs.
and then the 5 spot is tricky. I am not on the Bijan train. I'm sorry, I'm off of him.
Hmm.
He's gone to the point he's like a Kyle Pitts, and unfortunately they're both on the same team. But I gotta see it to believe it. Like I can't just believe a new coaching staff or a new quarterback, and like we've been burned too many times, and there's too many solid quarterback. Like I rather take Ashton Genty, almost Devon A. Chain, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving. Like there's so many like, hey, I know what I'm getting versus this upside we've been waiting for 3 years for Bijan. I get it. I understand it. If it comes back to bite me, it's like Jake said, like what do you have to make decisions. What are you willing to go home and be happy with? I am okay if Bijan blows up and he's not on my team. I'm okay with that. I will sleep just fine. That's not gonna bother me. So that's how I also draft and like, you fall in love with guys like Jake was saying. Well, there's guys too. Sometimes you got to eliminate to keep your mind level, to keep your strategy there. Because then you're like, oh well, everybody else thinks he's gonna be big, and then you pick him, and then you're like, God, I knew it. He wasn't gonna be good.
Yeah.
Now I doubled down. I didn't want him, and now he's screwing my fantasy. And now you're triple pissed when you should have just skipped on him because that was your gut feeling. So
I think I may eat both our words here for both of us. So we're talking with Bijan, like, so he's entering his third year. So last year he had 304 attempts, 1,456 yards. He had 61 catches for 431 yards, and he had 14 touchdowns with no lost fumbles. So I forget if he finished R2 or 3, but that's showing up pretty good too. And I honestly, I did not realize the stats were that good. I thought it was more volume based, but he's got less rushes than Henry and Saquon. So
I didn't know he had 1,400 yards to be honest.
Yeah, and I did. He just, the thing is, Atlanta was so underwhelming, the offense. But shit, I didn't know that. I mean,
Mind you, it's because they played the Panthers twice, and I think he got 300 yards in each of those games.
I was gonna say it was like 2 games. That's another thing. It's like, did he have 40 points 3 times, and then he had 8? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna eat my own words. You guys can fact check me, but like, maybe Ben has a little bit going on there.
Dude, I'll say this though: the reason why you don't hear a lot about Bijan, his longest rush all year, not rushing touchdown, just rush, was only 37 yards last year.
He's not explosive, or he's supposed to be an explosive back, and he's not. He hasn't shown the explosive yet.
Yeah, so it's just a grind.
I mean, that makes sense.
Damn, I didn't know that his stats was that
Hey,
good.
That's actually pretty good.
The Sports Ranter crew are definitely hitting these questions that's out there for fantasy owners. What to do with these running backs, how to rate them. It's important. Like, I love what Nick said. Is sometimes you have guys that you have ranked right, but you have to follow your board, follow your strategy, how you put together points. Because if you go outside of it and you regret it, you're going to hate yourself. And so, moving forward, wide receivers. I'm going to need you guys' help on this. Like I said, guys, I've been so busy worrying about my son's coaching team and trying to get them to freaking shed, shock, and tackle. Gosh dang it. But number 1, Jamar Chase. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. And past that, I'm lost with the names as far as who's to get. I know Chris Godwin's up there. But like I said, after top 2, Tyreek Hill's supposed to be suspect. So for me, all I got for you guys, 1 and 2, solid, is obviously I'm going to take Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson, and that's the only take I have right now for the receivers. What do you got? Go ahead, Jake. Please fill me in.
I think Jamar Chase is unanimous number 1. Everybody knows that. And as long as Burrow's healthy, then he's not going to let you down. Again, I want consistency, like with the offense and all that. Even though it is a new offensive coordinator, I think with Dak Prescott back, I think CeeDee Lamb is a safe bet. Justin Jefferson, the only reason, two reasons why he's not ahead of CeeDee is you do have a new quarterback coming in J.J. McCarthy. From everything I've heard and how J.J. McCarthy has looked, I think that's going to be just fine. But Justin Jefferson just practiced the first time today after 25 days from a hamstring injury. Now, I know, of course, they're not going to play him in preseason games and this and that, but I would just monitor, because if it comes down to where that's an issue at all, then if I'm splitting hairs between the number two, receiver overall, it's between CD and JJ. That's enough for me where I'll take CD Lamb. Then JJ is my number 3. Nico Collins. When Nico's healthy, you saw it in the preseason games. Him and Stroud have a connection. Nico's going to score a lot of touchdowns, and people shit on Stroud last year, but every one of his receivers was hurt like all the time. So I think Stroud's a great steal in the draft, but Nico Collins is right there for me. Amon-Ra drops out because Ben Johnson's gone, and I think Jameson Williams is on the up and up. So my 5th is Malik Neighbors. We saw him just shred it with the worst possible quarterbacks you could ever possibly even think of. Jackson Dart looks really good. Russell Wilson looks a little bit rejuvened at least. Their quarterback play is going to be better. Dayball's still there. It's still the same system. Malik Neighbors is going to have a fantastic year. So that's my 5.
Fantastic.
I'm just gonna add to it. I like those 5s. Nothing wrong with that. I've been a Nico lover before even people like Nico. I had him on my team. But I'm gonna throw in, say at the 5 spot, if I have to take one out, maybe Malik Neighbors, just because he's playing with a rookie quarterback. But again, I'm not Jake. I agree with everything you're saying. We all hated him on the draft last year. We all passed on him, and it didn't matter. So it looked like he is quarterback proof. We've talked about that. Justin Jefferson is a quarterback proof receiver. You have those types of talents. A rookie receiver, we knew he had talent. We're just like, who's going to throw you the ball? Well, he proved last year he might be quarterback proof. So I agree with Malik Neighbors there. But if I had to pull him and put in Brian Thomas Jr., I like him. I underestimated him. He shocked the hell out of me. I said he can't keep doing this every week. He kept doing it every week. When you develop a rapport with your quarterback, we all know that quarterback. While Trevor Lawrence is still young, he's still there. He loves throwing him the ball. Like I just don't see why it wouldn't continue. Like I don't. There's nothing there that tells me this duo together. Why wouldn't you? Like, he's a young quarterback. He fell in love with him last year, kept feeding him, and it just at the end of last year, just like he can't do it again. He can't do it again. He can't do it again. Like, he's a rookie. Dude, he's a stud. He's a stud. Yeah. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I'd put him right in that top 5, right outside range.
Wow.
Definitely no wrong answer.
This is getting excited. Tyreek Hill, like I said, not even getting the respect. There's kind of out of camp where he's still gaining the trust back from all the things that he said in the offseason. So it's like, man, it looks like Tyreek Hill's going to be sitting there at the end, no one's going to grab him. And then what if he just is the same old Tyreek Hill? Talk about value, right? So getting interesting. Tight end is always the toughest, guys. It ain't 10 years ago. Okay, but we're gonna go with it. Number 1, Bowers. Okay, we're going PPR league, guys. We're getting receptions, right? Bowers number 1, number 2, McBride. I don't get it. Like I didn't really was a believer in it, but holy shit, like this McBride guy is something else out of Arizona, right? Number 2, we're gonna go the old school guys. Number 4 and 5. Kelsey is coming back. He says he's gonna be less distracted because he's no longer working with Pfizer. So we'll see what happens with that. And then obviously Andrews. Something's crazy about Andrews. Towards the end of the season, he was still being used, and he was putting up the production, and lost that game for the team. If you guys remember, the fumble, the 2-point conversion, like, all he has to do is be Mark Andrews, and I think Baltimore is going to be in the playoffs, or the Super Bowl, right? So it's just I think Andrews comes back. So I don't know who the 5th guy is. I don't think it's going to be a rookie. I don't have something on my mind for the 5th spot.
George Kittle. You're forgetting George Kittle.
Yeah,
There it is. Yeah, Kittle.
You're forgetting George Kittle.
I'm always the old guys are still relevant. Top 5. with Bowers and McBride. It seems to be the same as last year, so we'll see. Jake, got anything different?
Yeah, it's Bowers is obviously number one. The just the volume and I think with Pete Carroll he can only go up. I got George Kittle at number two. They're going to need him too much and lean on him too much with the receiving situation in San Francisco, and I would not at all be surprised if Kittle shells out at number one. Three is Trey McBride. It's been proven in that offense. Like they target him. He has he just gets so many catches and so many looks. I do. The only reason he's not number two for me is I do think Marvin Harrison's going to have a bigger role in that offense. I do think some of that volume is going to shift away from McBride. Because they need to because you spent a high draft pick on Harrison and he was disappointing last year. They got to integrate him more into the offense. Kelsey's my number four. I think right now, just based on ADP, I think he is the biggest value just because the Chiefs are going through the same thing with their receivers, and it's like they just Rasheed Rice and the suspensions, and I forget even who now. I think Kittle's going to come in a little more dialed into football, and him and Mahomes have rapport. They're going to use him. Kelsey will surprise some people, and he'll be pleasant. Even if I say you reach 2 rounds ahead, I think Kelsey will still be a good value. Like I think people are going to be happy with him. Wow. And then Laporta, unfortunately, like he's wrestled injury and this and that after his rookie season where he lit it up. He had an injury, and then there is a lot of mouths to feed. But I think if you want a consistency guy that's got good upside, also good floor and a possible high seed, Laporta's great. So,
it's gonna be tough this year. Go ahead, Nick. Close us out.
I would remove Laporta and I put T.J. Hawkinson. I know he's playing with the rookie, and that's a concern. But as we all know, if any smart rookie, throw it to your tight end, you'll be all right. So it's a lot easier to throw it in the middle. Hawkinson's a ginormous target. He's not a smaller tight end. He's one of the bigger tight ends. I think J.J. McCarthy will struggle a little bit throwing to the outside in general. That's just standard QB 101. It's just easier to throw in the middle for rookie quarterbacks. And plus, they know how to use him. I mean, they used him last year. He's good in that offense. So I like T.J. Hawkinson. It's kind of interchangeable with Laporta and Kelsey in my mind, but it is the top three. It's Brock, Bowers, McBride, and George Kittle, and then everybody else. Pick from the litter. I mean, Njoku, Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, and so forth. Like so. But I would just throw TJ in there if to round out the top five.
Close out the show, guys. Angel 23. What should I pick, a running back first or wide receiver first? Does it matter? What strategy do you guys recommend? We covered this in the beginning, Angel. It all depends on your scoring system first. So you have to figure out if you're in a standard or if you're in a PPR. We kind of covered that a standard league is very touchdown dependent. You want to
also where you're
drafting, but it's very, very touchdown dependent. If it's a standard league, a PPR league counts for points per reception and also counts your yardage, and so the touchdown does not necessarily as dependent. And so in PPR leagues, people like to go receiver first, especially Jamari Chase and Justin Jefferson, and just the volume of yardage and receptions. You're talking 20 points a week with no touchdown. So that really, it does matter based on where you're drafting and what scoring system you have. I hope that answers your question, Angel. Anything real quick, Jake, Nick, to answer his question?
I would just say pick a strategy, so I'll just name a couple real quick. If you're going to go receiver first, you can do receiver, running back hero draft. So go receiver, go receiver strong, and then look at some running backs you think are going to be there late. If not, if you want to do more well balanced, and if whoever you're going to go first, it doesn't matter. In a PPR, doesn't matter in a PPR. If you go running back, receiver, whoever you want to get first, already start eyeing who you're going to get next. So if you already know you're going to go number one, say you got the number one pick, Jamar Chase, and you got to start looking, okay, then that means I'm going to get hopefully Chase Brown at the end of the second, or just start already mentally building your roster out so you don't get lost in the shuffle. Don't just wait to see who's there and then like try to plan it out. Like it doesn't really matter who you pick, but try to plan it out. Obviously you don't know who's going to be there, but just plan it out. But if you go receiver first, the only strategy is you can kind of do the running back hero draft as they call it, and you don't get a running back till late, hoping that they're going to come out of nowhere. The Joe Mixons of the world and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mine is just like we were talking about. Don't reach. Don't panic. Have a strategy. Hey, if I get, because most of us don't know where we're going to be picking in that first round until we get to draft day. So, and I like doing this a lot. If picks 1 through 4, what am I going to do, and what's my strategy going to be? Players that should be there, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. And if I'm, like in my league where it's a standard league, so receptions don't matter. If we got 7 running backs in a row, I'm going to take the third best receiver, probably the second best receiver, instead of reaching for a running back. Because I have in my mind, I have to get a running back in the first round. Be like water and just be able to form and conform to whatever you have in front of you.
Look at the value.
Yeah, to get the value, and don't panic and all that. You're going to get good value where you're at regardless. But if you have in your mind, I have to get a wide receiver in Nick's league in a full PPR, and I'm sitting at 11, and it go, Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra, and everybody goes. It's like, don't go reach for a guy that you may have maybe iffy on, like a Tyreek Hill or something like that. If you have a Jahmyr Gibbs sitting right there, like be able to be flexible and don't have one strategy concrete in your mind on draft.
Correct.
Yes, go with the flow, man. Go with the flow. Be like Wata, like Bruce Lee says. I want to say thank you. Thank you to Jake. Thank you, Nick, for being here today as we launch Season 4 of the Sports Ranter. We will be here every Tuesday live, 6 p.m., all the way through the Super Bowl and into the NFL draft of next season. That's where we will be. We're already starting out great. We have 2 live chatters and questions on our first live stream of Season 4.
Thank you.
It's going to get big. You guys tell all your friends, tell whatever, tell the world we will be here. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Nick. The Sports Ranter has returned. We'll see you guys next week live, 6 p.m. Peace out.
Peace.
And
Later.
Peace be the journey.
Damn, dude, I didn't even get to talk about Shador.
Joe Flacco. I thought someone was telling me that Shador. Joe Flacco starting quarterback.
I was harder on him than anybody, and I still